Okay. Um. So, uh, this is something that's been bothering me for a while, and I've got a pretty good idea that I'm gonna piss some people off. That is, if anybody even gives a shit to watch this thing, but it's something I think needs to be said. In all honesty, um, because I think we need to deconstruct this. Um, and I think if you are required by Facebook to be at least 13 to have your own page, that should also be the age that you have your own phone. This whole screen parenting, screen babysitter crap going on needs to stop. It really does. And real quick, I want to apologize for this thing being late. I've had issues with my camera lately not working. At least not since last time I streamed. I think about 6 days ago, something like that. It just hasn't worked, and I'm going. I don't know what's happening. Usually, I would close Streamlabs and open it back up, and it would light back up, and here we go. That has not been the case. So I let Windows do a whole big update. Took about 33 minutes. So that put me behind, and then had a couple calls that I had to take. That put me behind. So anyway, here we are, late, but we are. Anyway, yeah, if you're under the age of 13, you should not have a cell phone. You should not have an iPad. You should not have a tablet. Computers should be only if it's needed for a specific subject, homework. Other than that, you shouldn't have one. Television at most, and even then, limitations. Because I think we're getting lazy. And I think parents are becoming less and less concerned or even interested in their child's life and what they're doing. There was a reason why, for the longest time, there was something called Net Nanny, and that was just to kind of be like, hey, your child, if they know how to type boobs, are gonna find boobs, especially if they go to your computer. You're like, I'm an adult, have it on all the time. Don't give me child safe searches and shit, and you're not gonna remember to constantly flip those, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be like Netflix where you have a kids setting and they know to click on that, and then it's all kid friendly stuff that they can watch. Not same thing, but I think kids having internet access all the time prior to them being a teenager is bad for numerous reasons. First and foremost is a social standing. Um, they don't learn really how to socialize in front of anybody because they're too busy with shit in their face. So that needs to go. The other thing is that we constantly are trying to push things into their heads. You've got piano recital, you've got your play that you're working on, you've got dance, you've got tap dance, you've got ballet, you've got soccer, you've got baseball, you've got golf, you've got swimming, you've got balloon animal making, whatever it is. And it's like you just keep filling it. Give them one or two and let that be it. That's it. You get a summer and spring, you get a fall and a winter. That's it. And then let them just kind of go. And I'm speaking a lot to my own generation. How many things were we involved? How many times did we have summers where we would go, let's just go ride bikes for literally the entire day? And we would. Now you won't let them out of your sight. So then what are they supposed to do? Well, you can't constantly entertain them because you may have like a hybrid work schedule where you work at home sometimes, you go to the office sometimes, it just kind of depends. And on the days where you're at home working, you can't do anything. You got other stuff going on. And another thing is, I think we need to let kids be bored, because then it starts stimulating problem solving, creative thinking, and it gives them a sense of more of a like dislike instead of, oh, that's a cool video, no, I didn't like it. When I was a kid, there would be times where I would take my G.I. Joes out into the backyard and I'd pretend in mom's garden that I was, in the jungles. And I would sometimes go out there after she had just watered them, because then you could be like, oh, it's muddy, we got to get through this. And, oh, the truck's stuck and we got to get the truck out and stuff like that. But I was able to use my imagination. I was able to kind of have fun with it. I was able to create something instead of just, I don't know what to do. That's why I think my generation was the last generation for good toys. Name a good toy that came out after 95 that stood the test of time. Go ahead, I'll wait. Can't name one because there isn't one. We had the original Transformers, the original G.I. Joes, the original Star Wars. We had all that kind of stuff. Thundercats, Voltron. Like, you had all these iconic shows that were made that had toys that came with them. Where's the toys for shows now? No one cares. No one gives a damn. Kids don't play with them. If anything, it would just become, here's my statue. It just sits here. It does nothing. Isn't it such a great toy? Isn't it nice? Look at it. It doesn't do anything. Yay, toy. I mean, that's where they're at. They don't care. You have kids when they're in their little bouncer walker things that start yelling and screaming because the toys that you put on have been out. Well, let them deal with it. Let them figure it out. Saw the video, and I don't know if you've seen it, where there's this Asian dad, and they're walking across this long footpath, and there's like 4 strings or wires or whatever, and the dad just walks over them and keeps going. The kid walks up, and they're trying to figure it out. I don't know if it's a boy. I think it's a boy. But they're trying to figure out, and they're trying to go, all right, well, my dad went over, I'll go over. But he keeps getting stuck, and he can't figure it out. And the dad just stopped and turned around, and the kid's crying and whining, but the dad just kind of went, and just kept walking. And the kid's sitting there getting frustrated because they don't know what to do, but the dad's going, you need to figure this out. Like, you can walk, you can maneuver your hands, you can grab things, you can move your legs, figure it out. And eventually the dad goes down to the other side, and he sits down, and he just waits. He just waits, and the kid's struggling. And the kid sit there and struggles, and eventually learns he can just go under it, and throws the ropes over his head, and goes running down to his dad, and his dad praises him for solving it, and they keep going. But that's where we have to be. You don't want them to struggle. You don't want them to be upset. But going over there and fixing it for them does not give them a chance to actually develop up here. To have a sense up here where they can go, well, how am I supposed to do this? What's next? How does this go? What am I supposed to do? Well, you figure it out. That's what you're going to have to do later in life anyway. Once you get out of high school and once you get out of college and you have your degrees, you're like, okay, well, now what? My entire life has been studying and learning. What am I supposed to do now? Figure it out. What did you go get something for? Oh, for this? All right. Well, then continue on. Keep going. Find spots that have those. Find companies that could utilize those. Off you go. But what if there's no more answers that people can give you? Go figure it out. And if you are at the college level age and you're just now starting to problem solve yourself, I don't know what to tell you. That honestly sounds pretty rough, if I'm being honest. Because you should have some sense of, this is how I go about figuring this out. Okay, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this, and I'm trying to get this. Well, how would I put 4 of these together to get to here? Figure it out. You know, I always get irritated when I'm talking with someone or let's say we're driving in a car. What are they building there? I don't know. That's the wrong question. The right question is, what do you think they're building there? Because then it's an opinionated one. I can give an opinion on it. But if you're saying, what are they building there? You're wanting a factual answer. And it's not a part of the town that I normally go to, so how am I supposed to know? Or when are they going to fix these streets? I don't know. Instead, make a comment about, well, it's nice to know they're keeping consistent and not giving a shit of fixing the streets. There you go. Lazy bastard. Excuse me. But, and I think that goes back to always having your phone in hand. You want an answer to something right away, go click it up on your phone. But what we don't pay attention to is the first answer you get is an AI answer. So AI is like this. I'll give you an example. One of the more recent things that I looked up, because I am definitely the type of person that is, I'm always thirsty to learn. If you could teach me something and make it interesting, you've got me until I know it, or until I've hit my limit of what I can know, either for that day or for the rest of my life. And then I go, that's enough knowledge. I'm good. I don't need much more than that. Sometimes just an introductory level is perfectly fine. But I got to the point where, son of a bitch, learning stuff. What was I talking about before that? I don't remember. I wish I could go back and watch this before it's finished. But anyway, I was having like a thirst for knowledge. I love learning things. And I tend to, always look at stuff. So I'll look up to get more information on something, not to look for an answer. And I had a discussion with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about how fandoms are completely absurd. And I'm going to go ahead out on a limb and say every fandom for everything that has ever existed, y'all are out of control. 100% across the board. You're out of control. And the reason why I say that is you're going to have a favorite something, and that favorite something can never be subpar, because then you yourself feel as if you are subpar, rather than just go, that's just how it is. So, for example, last hockey season, San Jose Sharks were the worst team in the league. Worst team. You could even say the Sharks suck. And even Shark fans will go, yep, we suck. But then they'll bounce back and go, but whenever we had this, we ever had this, and then it was this, and this, and this, and then this was the problem, and that. Every year's got to have a loser. It just, y'all were next on the list. And I still think overall, I like the Shark uniforms. I like the logo. It's the best logo in California. And I've always kind of just like, that's a pretty cool ass logo. And the fact that it's like a shark, come on now, that's just awesome. You know, they got that big shark head that they pull down that the team goes through. Like, it's just really cool. But it wasn't your year. I hate LA Kings fans more than anything. Well, except Nashville Predator fans. Y'all are just the worst. I feel bad for your team. For whatever reason, you guys stack the deck and you shit the bed. At that point, it's a coaching issue. So you've had stellar goaltending for the better part of 13 seasons. But I think it's your coaching that holds you back. So here's where I'm looking at it. Again, I can be objective with things because I can say it's a good team. The fans suck. It's a good team. The fans suck. It's a shit year for your team. And some of your fans suck. But there's this overwhelming sense, especially when it comes down to like comic book characters and movie characters and things like that, to where you have your favorites and you shall not be moved. Okay, that's fine, but you can still be wrong. And it's a roundabout way to go about what I was going to say. And I thought about this, and there's sometimes, in especially the comic book world, I will have characters that I like and characters that I don't. Most of the time, and if I can ever change my living situation, trust me, y'all are going to see it. You'll see the characters that I like and the ones I don't. That guy right there is one of them. Or I guess maybe. There you go. That guy right there is one of them. But I can still be objective. Like a while ago, a discussion came up that said who would win in a random encounter between Batman and Daredevil. The amount of people that said Batman is just completely absurd to me. Completely absurd. And if you look at my collections of stuff, I do like Batman. And comparatively, I do not like Daredevil. I didn't like Daredevil before the Netflix show. It was a boring character. I couldn't stand him. But the Netflix show was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Especially some of those one-shot scenes where he's going in there to save the kid and he's fighting in the hallway and going into a room and coming out of a room and fighting in the hallway and landing on doors that are broken. Spectacular. And that started my enjoyment of Daredevil. And then I read the Chip Zdarsky run, and it was incredible. Found it for sale on eBay at $200 for the entire 36 run set plus some variants. Done. And I read the whole thing, and it was awesome. And I've been picking up Daredevil ever since. But I still like Batman more, but I will still say Daredevil wins 8 out of 10 times. 7 out of 10 at worst. And the Batman fans will sit there and go, but he knows 127 styles of martial arts. When he can guess what Spider-Man's going to do based off of him hearing how his muscles flex. That's how sharp his hearing is. Or at least that's how much he can tune into it. So what good is your 127 styles of martial arts if you hear the muscles moving and know what's coming? Not accepting that that's a possibility is just being blinded by your fandom because my guy doesn't lose. Welcome to being 5 years old again. And it's that mentality that I think comes from not being challenged when you're younger. Because another thing, if you know anything about me, Punisher's one of my top guys. Batman's my top guy on DC. Something came up to where it said, if Nightwing went against Marvel street level heroes, this would be the % chance that hero would beat Nightwing. And it was Punisher at a 5% chance. I'm sorry, what? What? Against Nightwing? Punisher has a 70 to 75% chance of beating Nightwing. Nightwing is an acrobatic, sure he has some martial arts stuff, but he's basically Daredevil, and Punisher can whoop up on Daredevil. Here's where I think a lot of the Batman family stands tend to get things wrong. There's certain criteria that they have. Sure, Batman has gadgets. Punisher couldn't care less. He's going to be using guns and knives and explosives. He's a military guy. I don't think Batman has ever fought against a villain, if you will. Well, even an opponent. Batman has never fought an opponent that has as little care and ruthlessness as Frank does. Because Frank would sit there, I think it was in the Ultimate Universe, he would invite Hulk over for chili, and he would put little bits of C4 in the chili, and Hulk had enough to where there was enough C4 to where Frank just went, see ya, Bruce, and clicked a button and blew his ass up from the inside out because he knew nothing he had would go through his skin. So he put the bomb into his mouth and blew him up. Batman doesn't know that type of creative ruthlessness to where Frank's not worried about fighting fair. It's one of us stops moving and the other doesn't. And if it's me, then it's finally my punishment for all the things I've done. But Batman has never gone against that. And that would cause him pause, and that would be all the more freaking Punisher would need to take him out. Honestly speaking, I'm saying there's a 50-50 shot either one of them wins. I said it. I don't think there's many gadgets that Batman can possess that Punisher hasn't dealt with in some sense before. And he's never met someone who doesn't care about not playing fair. Because Joker attacks in a sense to where he doesn't care about who he attacks, but he protects Batman. It's just mind games. For Punisher, it's just like, no, I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to blame you for it, and you're going to blame you for it, and I'm not going to care because you could have stopped me, you just didn't. It'd be that whole rooftop conversation from Daredevil Season 2. You're just one bad day away from being me. There's a morality line that Frank is well equipped to go beyond, and Batman's not. And that's that area that I think honestly brings Batman down and Punisher up, and it's a 50-50 shot. That's exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to people in general. If you're going to argue a point, argue it. Give reasonings. But if you're just going to stand by it, or you use the same argument as a comeback every time, you don't have a stake in the fight so much as you just don't want your guy to lose because it will hurt your feelings. And we don't develop that because we have all different types of input all the time that never challenges us. Like the little boy trying to catch up to his dad when they're shitting away. We need those challenges. You need someone to challenge you, someone to kind of shake you up a bit. Because if you don't have someone shaking you up, challenging you, then how do you bolster your resolve? And I've been getting into arguments on TikTok again because I said in WWE, Naomi's trash. She sucks. She's not good on the mic. She's better in ring than she is on the mic, but that's a marginal increase at best. Like Rhea's better, Io's better, Liv's better. Raquel and Rhea had an amazing street fight match, Night of Champions, back on Saturday. So Raquel got a boost up, and that's kind of how I view a lot of wrestlers. You need to give me a oh shit moment, and all of a sudden you've been boosted up to I like this person, or at least I respect this person. I don't respect John Cena's in-ring. His whole little, oh, do a shoulder tackle. Oh, do another shoulder tackle. You can't see me. That's dumb. It's dumb. Just like the People's Elbow was dumb. It's all just a spectacle for people to get behind. We're like, yeah, that's the thing I wanted to see. But anytime I make a statement, I back it up with why. I'm just sick and tired of people coming at me without telling me why. Just don't explode at me and basically call me racist that I don't like Naomi. I'm going, well, Nia sucks. Her whole thing is just, I'm big and fat and I'll sit on you. I'm going, you're just like your uncle Rikishi. Rikishi's in-ring was terrible. He was more known for dancing with Too Cool and putting his ass in other people's faces and falling off a Hell in a Cell into the back of a hay-filled truck than anything else in his career. Tell me I'm wrong. There was nothing significant. And Naomi's in that same part. She's not, there's nothing that has her stick out. And this whole, you need to proceed with caution. It's not gotten over yet, honey. You've been trying to do that for 3 months, and the audience is not behind you on it. You need to change that up to, you need to proceed with caution. Because you say it slow, thinking the audience is going to get behind you, but they're not. So you just need to be ruthless with it. You just need to go, I told you to be careful. And drop the mic and walk off. Be cold with it. Don't be emotional with it. That's one thing that bugs the hell out of me about a lot of these storylines. Everybody gets so emotional with it. Be cold. Be ruthless. You want to sit there and actually try and tell people they need to proceed with caution, then do shit that makes them cautious. Just don't say it. Back it up. You're trash. Nia's trash. Ivy Nile is decent, but she's non-existent, so she's trash. Natalya used to be. Now you're not. Bye. Maxime Dupree. Bye. Julia's getting there. Kairi Sane just came back. She hurt Liv, and now it's almost like other people are terrified to work with her. It was a freak accident that happened. Shit happens. Move on. Where's Bianca? I think she's still on her honeymoon or something like that. Well, no, because Her husband's still running around. But it's to the point to where, like I said, you have to remove your feelings. If not, you're just going to be a miserable shit the rest of your life. Throw things logically. Think things logically. Going back to what I was saying about what are they building there? I don't know. Look it up. That would be one of those situations. If I was curious, I would look it up, but I don't care. One thing that does kind of hit me from time to time, I'm like, oh, all right, now I gotta know. Is if I walk by or if I go somewhere and a game is on and I've been enjoying watching the game, for me, if the game isn't over by the time I'm ready to leave, I have to know who wins. I will. I have to look it up. I have to know. If I was entertained, I want to know who won in the end. But if I wasn't entertained and I have no stake in it, I don't care. But that's just kind of how I'm wired, is I'll find out if I want to know about something. And I get sick and tired when people just want an answer right then and there of going, well, you can think about it too. Start putting the pieces together and formulate something. And when you ask your question of, I wonder what they're building or what are they building there, ask it more of, I wonder if they're building a new hotel. That's probably what this area needs. Well, it's going to be at least 3 stories, so that's a possibility. Seems like a weird place to put one, but at least you're thinking about it. You're trying to add something to it rather than demand an answer that is not provided. I know Jeff Foxworthy has a thing on that. It's where he's saying women always want answers or want more answers than men have. And he was telling about this story of a friend of his that got into a bad wreck and he got a text that said, please pray for John. He was in a bad wreck. Was his wife in the car? I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for John. He was in a bad wreck. Well, was he driving? I don't know. Well, the other people hurt? I don't know. What hospital is he in? I don't know. Did they take him by ambulance? I don't know. Is anything permanent? I don't know. Well, what do you know? I know we need to pray for John. He was in a bad wreck. But that's literally my point, is I gave you 100% of the information I know. And you're asking all these other questions that men don't ask. We get information, we go, okay. We don't analyze it. We don't ask in all these other secondary and tertiary questions that to us is meaningless. We're not wired that way. So before you start asking all these repeat follow-up questions, sit there, go, okay, hold on. That's what he told me. And he got the text from, I don't know, say her name's Becky. He's like, who'd you get the text from? Becky. Okay, well, I'll call Becky and see if she knows more. Cool. Because I got the text. I informed you what the text said. And then you're asking questions from me that didn't come from anything that I told you. So if you want more answers, contact the person that gave me that information, and you might get those answers. See what I mean by problem solving? Thinking instead of just demanding instant regurgitation from something or instant gratification, because that's where we go back to with all the handheld stuff. You know, you have this fucking thing in your hand all the time, and guess what? You're not really paying attention to what's going on around you. Swerving to the left, swerving to the right, knocking this over, getting in this person's way. Now other people have to watch out for you because you aren't doing it. Just like you're that asshole who's at the beginning of the line at a stoplight. Light goes green. Sure, the person behind you waits 1 second, but I'm going, you got to give them a little bit more than that, man. They get to the count of 3, and then they get the horn. I don't know. Whatever you're doing is not more important because you are in a line. That is the important thing. Sure, take a moment to respond. Throw the phone right back down again. Next time you stop, pick it up if you heard back from it in between the lights that you got stopped at. Period. We're so self-absorbed. Have to have all this stuff just coming in and feeding us, and it's getting out of hand. And it starts with telling the kids, no, you will not have a phone. You won't. All my other friends, well, your friends are stupid. Their parents are stupid. And their parents are lazy and their parents don't love them. Tell them that. You know why you have a phone, right? Because your parents don't love you and you just annoy them. And that's why you're on your phone all the time. Now you've started a war. Hopefully, we can get you in there with someone else whose parents goes, yeah, I'm not giving my kid one. Our kids are going to be best friends. They're going to start this war of going, your parents don't want anything to do with you. That's why they give you a screen to look at. They don't care about you. You're just annoying. Have you tried not being a piece of poop? Because right now you're poopy. You're poopy to hut. Like I said, I'm standing on that. That's all there is to it. I know I went on tangents, but it goes back to everything from before, is that your answers were given right away. You can be curious about something, have some information, then go dig up more, or you hear a little bit about it, know nothing about it, and you want to go learn more. 100% okay with that. That's honestly what I think the internet should be for. It really should. You should be able to sit there and go, I want to learn more about this. Let's go look it up. And I'll tell you 99% of the time, if I'm looking something up, I want a Wikipedia page on it. I don't want anything else. I don't want a video. I don't want a YouTube short. I don't want a TikTok. I want to read something. I don't want to watch a video. The reason being is I'm going to have to watch about 3.5 minutes of commercials for a 45-second video of just trying to tell me what I want to know. No, give me an article. Give me something in Wikipedia. Because if I click on New York Times, this whole big old thing that comes up that says, allow ads on our site, and close. Nope. Do not care. Do not care at all. I don't care. Or have any of these videos and it says, wait for it. Skip. If it shows up in the middle of a video I'm watching, skip. Don't tell me to wait for it. Just play your damn video. Wait till the end. Skip. I'll look at the bottom and I'll see how fast that the progress bar for the video is going. If it's going fast enough, I might. But most of the time, skip. All right. I think I beat this horse to death enough. Sorry for being late, and I'll be on time next week. Take care, y'all.